What if I told you your mind has been quietly overtaken, that the thoughts you repeat, the desires you chase, and the fears that haunt you were not born from your soul, but quietly shaped into your beliefs? You have been shaped, molded, trained, not by fate, but by slow repetition. An ancient influence, subtle and ever-present, has quietly led humanity to turn away from the power within. It wears no name. It wields no tools, because it does not need to. Its battlefield is the mind, and its silent power is unconscious compliance. You call it society. You call it the real world. But what if it is neither? What if it is a dream, sculpted to resemble truth? A cage without walls, because you were taught there is nothing beyond them. But hear me now, that dream ends tonight, because once your soul awakens to the illusion, you will never sleep again. History remembers emperors, kings, and conquerors, figures who rose through fire, through steel, through struggle. But the greatest transformations in human history often left no trail of blood, no crowned figure, no army, because the battlefield was not land. It was the unseen realm of human thought, where all true empires begin. No force was wielded, no banners flew, yet something more enduring was touched. The realm of perception itself was gently shaped, not by war, but through suggestion, not by fear, but through repetition, not by chains, but through the quiet drift of accepted belief. This is influence at its most silent and enduring. For when belief is guided, no prison is needed. A person may dwell within self-imposed walls and defend them as if they were freedom. Throughout every age, those who rose to true power craved not merely gold, not territory, not even conquest by force. Their desire reached deeper, toward the ability to shape perception itself. This knowledge is not new. It is ancient, veiled in temples, whispered through scrolls, passed from priest to philosopher, from emperor to scholar. The sages of Egypt guarded it. The minds of Greece examined it. The rulers of Rome refined it. And today, though woven into the fabric of daily life, it still shapes the lens through which reality is seen. Sun Tzu once wrote in The Art of War, "The greatest victory is to defeat the enemy without fighting." And that is the strategy that echoes through modern life. Subtle, persistent, unseen, no force imposed, no visible struggle, just whispers, repetition, belief. There are three unseen forces that quietly sculpt the way we perceive reality, not with violence, but with whispers, woven into every breath of awareness. 3 quiet laws, shaping your thoughts before you even speak them. Until they are seen, the path to true clarity will remain just out of reach. History is not memory. It is architecture. It is built not only to reveal truth, but to reflect the shape it takes over time. The Library of Alexandria was not merely lost to time. It was consumed by the storms of empire. The Mayan codices did not fade. They were lost in the fires of conquest. Sacred scrolls and ancient teachings, lost not only to time, but to shifting tides of fear and power. Because knowledge sparks transformation, and truth, once seen, cannot be unseen. Those who shaped our world did not always need force. Sometimes only a story. Because the story you accept becomes the shape of your soul. Every book you read, filtered by the lens of its time. Every movie you loved, a mirror of someone's worldview. Every headline you trusted, crafted with intent. And you were raised in a narrative, woven by others, not to mislead, but to guide your perception. The philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer warned us, truth passes through 3 stages. First, it is ridiculed. Then, it is violently opposed. Finally, it is accepted as self-evident. But how many ever reach the second stage? How often do we dismiss unfamiliar truths before we have taken the time to understand them? This forgetting may feel like a chance, but history has its patterns. And those who master the story, master the world. A man who cannot master his own desires will always be mastered by something beyond him. From the moment you took your first breath, the world began shaping your beliefs. Chase what feels good. Run from what hurts. Desire is joy. Pain is danger. Truth is costly. Then why did the ancient monks turn from indulgence? Why did the warriors walk barefoot through fire and frost? Because they understood. The man who obeys every craving is no longer obeying himself. Look around you. Screens glowing with seduction. Pleasures packaged for passive escape. Distractions disguised as delight. Because when a man becomes bound by sensation, he forgets how to fight for liberation. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius warned us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. But what of the modern man? He has surrendered his inner kingdom. His wants are no longer born from within, and the unseen pull of persuasion, subtle, relentless, grows stronger each time. He chooses comfort over clarity. Fear is the oldest enchantment known to man, a whisper that coils around the spine, and tightens with every heartbeat. Niccolò Machiavelli, cloaked in royal counsel, once wrote in The Prince, "It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both." He knew what the ancients already understood. Fear does not persuade, it possesses. Fear bends the will. It makes strong men kneel. It makes free men build their own cages and call it protection. Look around, one wave after another, a trembling world, endless alerts and anxious scrolls. Shadows flicker across every screen. The culture of fear is not just about feeling afraid. It's about becoming familiar with it, learning to trust noise over knowing, but from the loudest signal in the storm. And who provides the solution? Sometimes it's the very hand that stoked the flame, not from malice, but through a rhythm ancient and repeated. This is the quiet riddle of control. And to walk free, you must see. See not with eyes, but with the eye behind the eyes. The one shadow cannot deceive. Only then can you rise beyond the circle and walk the path of the unshaken. Every thought you carry may not be your own. Every belief you defend may quietly bind more than it frees. So be still and ask with fearless clarity, who placed this thought within me? Whose voice echoes in my convictions? And who benefits when I never question what I have accepted? This is not defiance. This is remembering. Seek knowledge, not just for comfort, but for liberation. Turn your attention toward what once stood outside the walls of tradition, not because it was untrue, but because it disrupted the ease of unquestioned sleep. Study the scriptures of many paths. Read not just what is praised, but also what was forgotten. Explore the wisdom of the ancient, the mystical, the teachings tucked in quiet corners of time. For truth is not veiled to be lost. It is often simply shielded. Shielded by fear. Shielded by shame. Shielded behind signs that whisper, not for you. But you must look. And when you do, you will not just find knowledge. You will begin to remember who you are. A man who cannot command his cravings is no longer grounded. He is a vessel, tossed and turned by winds, not his own. Desire is not evil, it is wild. And what is wild must be mastered, or it will master you. Turn away from the glowing lure, from the quick pleasure, from the tempting whisper that says, just one more time. For every indulgence you resist, you awaken a deeper strength, a clarity, a fire that no longer flickers at every passing breeze. Self-denial is not punishment, it is power. When you say no to what weakens you, you say yes to what will crown you. You do not overcome desire by resisting it head-on. You rise above it. You remember, you are not the hunger. You are the flame that burns through it. Fear is the oldest ghost in the world. It wears many masks: danger, doubt, shame, loss. But it is always the same spirit, the whisper that says, "You are not safe." Yet fear is a mask that wears the face of truth, a mirage conjured to keep your soul small, your light dim, your steps hesitant. It is not the presence of fear that binds a man, but his belief in it. You must see fear for what it is: a tool, a test, a veil. And when you pierce that veil, when you face your deepest fear and do not turn away, you become something else. Not just fearless, but formless, unstoppable, unshakable, untouchable. For fear only holds power over those who have forgotten who they are. But you are remembering. There are keepers of comfort, not enemies, but echoes of forgetfulness, forces that quietly cradle men in sleep, not with chains, but with soft cushions, not with prisons, but pleasures dressed as peace. They do not strike with hate, but withdraw in reverence, frightened of what awakens when you remember who you are. But now you rise. You rise from the dust of unknowing, and once the inner fire is sparked, not even oceans of illusion can drown it. You were not born to bow to illusion. You were carved by the infinite, shaped by the stars to reign in full command. You are the architects now of your mind, your world, your destiny. The age of silence has passed. The spell of sleep dissolves. Now the only question that remains is not whether you can rise, but whether you will claim the throne within you. If you have felt the shift within, comment, "I claim the throne within." Let the ancient eyes bear witness, and let even the keepers of silence recognize your light.